Welcome to Hot Women Wanted.
We're three childhood best friends who have been through it all and talk about it all.
Everything from hot flashes to hot takes to hot topics. So come join us. Hi, Hotties. Welcome to Hot Women Wanted. If you're new to the pod, we are truly three lifelong best friends who have been through it all and talk about it all. I am Meredith Young. I'm here with my fellow hotties, Julie Strauss-Greeley and Julie Cola. And today we have a guest hottie, Terry Tateossian. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry. Welcome to Hot Women Wanted. We're so excited.
Hello, Hotties.
We're so excited to have you. Let me do just a second introduction, like a 1 second introduction for you, and then we want to hear all about you from you. But Terry is our guest hottie, and she is a fitness guru focused on health and fitness. She has a podcast, and she is the founder of Thor, the House of Rose, a wellness community for women over 40. And that's why you're so perfect for our podcast, Terry, because that's who we talk to. Our hotties are all, well, that's not true. I mean, we do have some youngie hotties too. But what we talk about is appropriate for women over 40 going through perimenopause and menopause.
Midlife.
And so, Terry, we wanted to start with first a temperature check from you. And how are you feeling today?
Oh my gosh, I feel amazing every day. Now that I'm a fully grown-up hottie, meaning yeah, it's great. It's fully gone. So amazing.
Really? All gone?
So you're like fully on the other side of it. You're in the good side of it.
I am on the good side now for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Someday I'll get there.
Jules, how are you?
Well, I'm sleeping better now. I have a problem sleeping, Terry. We were talking about this on the pod. So I'm taking magnesium, and I was taking too much of a lower dose, and Mary told me that I should up my dose of magnesium, and it's really helping. Taking the 2 doses of the new magnesium, the pure, I love it.
I love it.
And I still haven't bought that the other supplement to get for my sleep, but I'm going to get it.
Not even need it.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, Terry, let's let you take it away. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about you, what you do, what you think, what you believe. We want to hear all of the wisdom.
So I am almost 49 years old this year, and I started perimenopause at about 37, unbeknownst to me. And I'll tell you guys something funny. So when I started getting hot flashes back then, I thought I had no clue, right? So I'd never heard, this was 12 years ago, I had never heard of anybody going into perimenopause at 37. I had just had a baby at 35, right?
Yeah.
I was still wearing pregnancy clothes. And so I had started a fitness journey at the time. I was about 40, like 39, 40 years old. I had just started a fitness journey. I was working out. I was lifting weights. I was counting macros. I was doing all the things. And every time I'd be laying in bed and I would get a hot flash, and I would get so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, my metabolism on fire, I'm burning all the fat. And I was so excited about it. It never dawned on me it was a hot flash. So, for anybody out there that's having a really hard time with the hot flashes, just think of them as just your metabolism is
You're burning.
You're literally burning, and you're also burning calories.
Yeah, I was clueless. So my mindset was that it was a good thing. So every time it happened, I was like, yes, I'm all fired up. But yeah, I mean, that's generally the timeline of when I started. At 37. I was 80 pounds overweight. I just had a baby. I was wearing maternity clothes. I was not prepared for that. And it hit me like a tractor trailer. Okay. And I was very unprepared. It didn't even dawn on me that I was in perimenopause until it disappeared. So my cycle left the building at 42. It ghosted me and
Wow.
never showed up again. And I thought I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Very well
No,
could have been.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. And so I kind of went through it, fast and furious for about 5 years. And I've been completely cycle free since 42. I'm almost 49. So it's going on 7 years now.
Wow.
So you really are on the other side of it. Lucky you. Okay.
I feel great.
Terry, do you have no symptoms at all?
Once in a while, I will feel like a little mini hot flash, but I'm not really sure exactly if that's what it really is. I do sometimes feel a little bit of joint pain. And that, again, I'm not sure if it's from lifting weights or possibly low estrogen, which very likely. But I don't really test my hormones that much. I don't really care. I feel good. So the less I know, the better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for you, Terry. In terms of like the nexus between your fitness journey and like changing the way that you work out and the different things that you started to do, when did you make that connection that, I'm dieting, I'm doing all the things I used to do in my earlier 30s or whatever it was, most women grow up learning about, and it's not coming off the way that I am used to, and connecting it to perhaps, well, this isn't really working, so I need to change this up. And it wasn't working right because of the hormonal aspect of being in perimenopause, right?
So I'm going to bust that myth.
Oh, okay. Good.
Because my hormones and being in perimenopause had nothing to do with whether it worked or it didn't work.
Okay.
The main issue was my own sabotage. I had an emotional eating issue. And so no matter what I did, no matter how successful I was at whatever diet I was on, I'd always gain it back because it was always a diet that had an end point. It was never a lifestyle.
It wasn't a lifestyle change.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So there are, another funny fact. There are 40,000 diet books on Amazon on all kinds of different diets. I've probably done half of them.
Right.
I think most women have same. I mean,
one of my oldest stories is being on Weight Watchers with these two. I mean, we started young, going to Weight Watchers meetings before it was online. So we can relate.
I will say that, like, when I'm just curious, because it's like after 50, and you're younger than us, it's like that's when, I guess, when the perimenopause kicked in, all of our healthy habits weren't working. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, I mean, we have our cocktails on the weekends, but we're not crazy, and we'd be eating like high protein meals, low carb meals, really watching all of that and working out. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gaining weight too. And we couldn't figure it out. It was so frustrating.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, it's very bio-individual, right? So it does get more difficult as time goes on, but it's not impossible. So I have women in perimenopause and postmenopause as clients, and it just depends on the amount of activity you do. So your hormones will impact your mood, right? So they impact your energy,
right,
your mood. And I don't know your history, right? So are you lifting weights? Are you doing progressive overload? Are you sleeping well, right? So your hormones will also impact your sleep quality. So if you're not fully recovered, you're not really going to be in the best of mood. You're not going to have enough energy to go to the gym, lift really, challenge yourself with your weights. You may not be doing enough steps in the day or cardio or whatever it may be. So all of these things, that's what's really connected to gaining weight is your sleep and your general activity, and they're impacted by hormones. But I can't, and low estrogen does redistribute body fat differently when you're start gaining the weight, but that, really you gain weight because of a caloric overage. So you're not expending as much as you're taking in.
Got it.
I have a question for you. So you said you had gained 80 pounds, I guess it was through the pregnancy and then maybe through the menopause. But I've seen I'm all over your Instagram. You're lifting those. Like, how did you get into like the weightlifting and like realizing that strength training was like your key?
Unwillingly.
Same.
I was not a fan. Oh my gosh. So when I first started weightlifting, I didn't know what a dumbbell was. I had like these abbreviations in my program that says DB or DL. And I was like, what in the F is that? I felt like I needed a PhD to figure out what the heck is like I'm supposed to be doing. And so I was a legitimate beginner, right? So I spent the majority of my life in the corporate world working. I was a computer software engineer. So I was not anywhere near the gym. It was sacrilege to go to the gym.
Right. Really.
Right? It was a waste of time in my mind, So like, who the hell has time for this crap? Like, we got more important things to do. We got kids, you got family, you got
and those commitments are really true. I mean, that really does figure in for women. I mean, it's very, it not only is it an attitude of, oh, this, this other stuff is crap. It's like sometimes as women and working women, it's like how there's only so many ways I can split myself up and divide myself, and there's only so many hours in the day. So it does become, unfortunately, I think for so many women, you put yourself in the back seat.
Terry, I got to tell you what was happening for me, and I shifted this recently, but I was a cardio maniac, right? Like, I love cardio. I love an intense spin class where my heart rate is like through the roof. I'm running, and I was doing it like truly like 5 times a week, just like sprinting. And I was doing it with my daughters and having the best time. And I had a friend of mine who was like looking at my Peloton, and she was like, I actually think you're working inefficiently. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, what do you mean? And so she was the first one to say to me, like, you're spending a lot of time, and maybe more time than you even need to, but you're spending it all wrong. And so then I started to like strength train and really like mix up my time much, much more. But can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've been conditioned, right, to do a lot of cardio and eat very little. And a lot of women when they get to me initially, that's exactly the same story. So when I'm coaching women now, I look at, and I take an audit of their current lifestyle. What are you currently eating? How many calories? How much protein? How many carbs? How much fat? How much strength training are you doing? What is your activity level? Like, I'm like in there, okay? And so that's very, very normal. It's very typical. That's exactly where I was at. I thought we do cardio to lose body fat, which is completely incorrect.
Right. Like, I was actually, what I learned that I was doing was I was raising my, is it my insulin?
Cortisol
level so much that I was like not losing weight. I was actually holding on to the weight because my cortisol was so high from all the high impact cardio.
Mm-hmm. So cardio is great for cardiovascular health, and it's really great for mental health. It's good for all kinds of things, right? But it's not for weight loss specifically. The way that all the research is pointing out nowadays is the more lean muscle mass you have, the more you burn energy, right? So you're a lot more efficient just in a sitting state, right? A resting state, you're burning more calories because you have more lean muscle tissue. Mm-hmm. So doing all the activities that builds and maintains or retains lean muscle mass are priorities, especially once we enter perimenopause, because that's what will help us eat more food without gaining more weight or without gaining any weight. Now, with cardio, typically my recommendation is to be at 15 minutes per day for heart health, for mental health, things like that, and then spend the hour that you have lifting weights, and walking obviously is a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to flip it. It's so interesting for us, I guess, we're Gen X, to flip that mindset, because it's so programmed cardio. And it's like, no, strength training. And then like you said, 15, 20 minutes of the cardio tops, and then switch over to your strength training. Mm-hmm. But like, you're right. It's like, it's the cardio or the walking, it's part of mental health too. It clears your head. So, you know what I mean? It's important too. But building that muscle. I'm not naturally muscular. So for me, it's so important to strength train.
I
Yeah.
mean, who's naturally muscular?
No, some people are. Some people like genetically have.
Not in this little hottie group.
Not in our little group. Not these hotties.
Taking Terry out of this.
Okay,
not
but I'm going back to Terry. Terry, you are lifting heavy. I've seen those weights on your Instagram. Now, how did you get there?
Oh man, it's taken 9 years. It didn't happen overnight. So I started with body weight, really, and I started with minimum weights. Really, it was where I was at. I had never lifted weights before. I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I just didn't stop, right? So between the age of 40 and now almost 49, I haven't stopped lifting weights. So it's taken me 9 years to get here.
Wow. So you're ahead of us. I mean, like we're like 2 years in of weight. I would say strength training, right?
Maybe 1 year. Terry, I'm
think,
going to tell you a really weird thing that happened to me, and you're not going to have heard of it because none of the doctors had. But I think it's because I started lifting heavy weights too quickly. But I got this like little lump on my clavicle, and I went to a million doctors, and all the doctors were like, I don't know, go to my primary care doctor sent me to a dermatologist who sent me to an ENT who sent me then to like a shoulder person, and everyone was like, we don't know. This is like a weird thing. I got an MRI, I got it all. And then I was like, forget it. Like I whatever. I mean, it's obviously not a big deal. Like nobody thinks it's a big deal. And then I'm now in Colorado, and the altitude kind of made it like made it worse, right? Like it popped out and it started to hurt. So I went to a dermatologist here, and he opened it up, and I had a huge blood clot in my like clavicle area. And he asked me, he's like, have you started lifting heavier weights? And I said, I actually have. And he's like, I've seen this very rarely, but if you go to heavier weights too fast, sometimes like you open up a space in this like neck area and some blood seeps in, and then like you get this crazy thing, which was not dangerous and turned out to be a big nothing. But I'm guessing there are things with like going too quickly, like increasing your weight too quickly.
So how quickly? So tell me what lifts you were doing and how quickly you increased.
I had gone up to, so I was like at really minimal. Like I was doing like, 5s and 10s, right? Like 5 and 10 pounds. And one of my children is a physical therapist who was like, you can do more, So I went out and bought myself the 15 and 20 pounds. And I really moved up to the 20 pounds, like 2 20-pound dumbbells for almost everything that I could. Even like, obviously not like some of those above the head ones are a little bit harder, but I went up to the 20-pound pretty quickly. And so I don't know, is that too fast?
Not necessarily. I mean, how long were you doing the 5 to 10 pounders?
Oh, a long time. Yeah.
Probably not. I wouldn't say that was too quickly.
That, you know what, I want to kind of talk about that for some of our listeners and people who maybe don't have access to a strength training program, the equipment at a gym, or don't want to pay for a gym membership because they're also at home. Like I have all this equipment at home, and I do have free weights at home, and I also have up to 20 pounds. But like, because I have everything at home, I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to the local Y or the gym or pay for a membership where I could be doing on the bell and have somebody spot me. And, so I'm wondering, what are your thoughts? I mean, is there a point at which it sounds to me that you're going to say we just need to keep progressing? So really availing myself once or twice a week of a class that is outside my house where I'm not limited to the 20 pounds is really something you would recommend, because it sounds to me that you feel like, and based on your videos, that we really do need to be progressing. In other words, if I'm doing strength training 3 times a week and I'm sort of maxed out at that 20 pounds for over the head and 40 pounds when I'm doing a deadlift or something like that, at some point leveling off, it's just not going to do anything. Am I wrong? Is that right?
So there's a misconception on what progressive overload is. Right?
Okay.
So when we say progressive overload, that could mean how much weight you're lifting, but it could also mean how many reps you're doing in a set.
Okay.
It could mean how many sets you're doing.
Oh, okay.
It could mean what is the tempo on the eccentric part of the movement, how long, how slow, how fast. It could also be how long your rest periods are. It could also be, do you have any paused portions of the range of motion? Do you have any partial reps? So there's a lot that goes into a really smart, intelligent, strategic program that can utilize the equipment that you have at home to its full capacity. Now, at some point though, you will grow, and that's great, right? That's what we want. We want to outgrow a lot of these ways that we initially started with, because that's a signal that we have gotten stronger. And so, for example, let's say with an RDL, a lot of people start with 10-pound dumbbells in each hand and they do an RDL that way. Eventually and very quickly, let me tell you, regardless of the age of the woman that I work with, it happens very quickly. The body loves load-bearing exercises. So before you know it, like a month will pass by and they're into the 20s, into the 30s, into the 40s, into the 50s, in each hand, right? And, something that you want to pay attention to when you're assessing and determining and deciding, are you ready to move to a different weight, is what is your rate of a different weight? What is your rate of perceived exertion, right? Your RPE. Meaning, if I said, give me 10 reps of RDLs at whatever your working weight is, you will select a weight that will allow you to do 2 extra ones, right? So, so that you're not working at failure constantly, right? So you want to have 2 reps in the tank that will bring you at an RPE 8, right? And so if you're able to do more than 2 reps, that means you could add more weight.
Right. Then you're not pushing yourself enough.
Or you're not doing enough reps, right?
Right. And so a really great option, and this is what I have at home, because a lot of my workouts, I do them in between, like I'll do my workouts in between calls, in between emails or whatever.
I think a lot of our listeners too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's fantastic. So I have adjustable weights, right? So they go all the way up to 50 pounds. And then I have a barbell. It doesn't take up a lot of room. I have a squat rack and I have a cable machine. That's really all I need in order to hit all the major muscle groups. A barbell.
I've seen those adjustable weights. Those are very interesting. I keep seeing them online. They keep coming into my feed.
What are those?
Yeah, I have no idea what those are.
I've never seen those.
I'll let Terry explain it. But
so Bowflex, there's a couple of companies that make them. Bowflex are the ones that I have. So they basically have little dials on each side, and you can adjust how much weight it picks up, right? So it goes all the way up to, some of them go up to 95 pounds per dumbbell, and you can adjust it, right? And you have from 5 pounds all the way to 95 just by adjusting a little dial, and you can set it to whatever weight you want.
So it's like one set of hand weights, but you can get a myriad of actual weight on it. So you could be lifting 20s, you could be lifting 40s, but you don't have like 10 sets of dumbbells like you would at a gym.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yes, they exist. Awesome. Yes, for some reason, somebody's trying to tell me something. They keep coming into my social media feed.
But like your 5s are no longer working, Julie.
All right. I'm going to ask Terry, I do 10-pound weights. Now, is that terrible? Should I be it's hard for me.
Yes. Yes. The answer is yes.
Terry answer. She's the guest hottie.
Well, it depends. So I do 10-pound weights for lateral raises. I've been doing them 9 years, and that's about as I finally.
Lateral raises are a killer.
That's hard with 10-pound. I can't do that many with 10.
No, me neither.
It took me 9 years to graduate to 12.5. Okay. So it depends on what exercise you're doing. Depends on how long you've been sitting on the 10-pounders. Is it an RDL that you're doing?
Just how long have they been?
I don't know. I don't know how long I've had them. I have 5-pound weights that I use. It depends what exercise I'm doing. I have 5-pound weights and 10-pound weights. When I'm doing, when I do the overhead, I'll do the overhead and then I'll do the back ones. But the 10-pound weights for me, if that's my workout, I can't do a million of them. I really feel it.
So you've been doing this for a year? Or how long?
Maybe a year.
You can probably do more. So my recommendation is that you buy fractional weights, right? And the adjustable weights.
Yeah.
And you should be good. So fractional weights are like half a pound to a quarter pound to 1 pound attachments that clip onto the regular dumbbells. And you can progress that way if you don't feel comfortable enough to go up to, 15. But you can for sure try out 12 and a half.
Right. I can do a 12. I've done the 12s. You know what I mean? It's just hard for me, to do it. I can only do less, but I guess I can just do less of the harder one.
Well, how many reps are you doing?
I don't know. I'll do it for a half hour.
Yeah, but okay. So give me an example. Are you doing
like a set program, Julia, where they have you doing 3 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 10?
I'll do overhead, or I'll do the 10-pound weight. I'll do overheads. I'll do the back one. I'll do a whole thing of it. I'll just go on my phone and do some sort of workout with the weights at the gym or at home.
Right.
So 40 minutes.
How many reps are you doing of
I don't
a shoulder?
Really know. Yeah, I don't know exactly. But it's about 40 minutes.
You need a little bit more of a program.
No, I'm actually very disciplined with my arms, but I wanted to know, if I'm not pushing it's very hard for me. It's not that I don't want to push myself. It's just really hard for me.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance here, right? And this is where a lot of confusion comes in, because a lot of women, what I'm seeing firsthand is that they are doing high reps, low weights, right? So if you can't graduate to a 15-pound shoulder press after a year, what that's telling me is that you're doing high reps, like you're trying to go for 18, 19, 20 reps, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be very hard to move up the weight, right? So if you're doing 20 reps and pushing that overhead with 10 pounds, yeah, I would be tired too. That would be very hard, right?
Right.
But the goal really is to stimulate the muscle. So you don't necessarily need to be doing 20 reps. You could be doing 10 reps and then consistently adding a little bit more weight to those 10 reps rather than going to failure with 20 reps, because that's low weight. That's not giving enough stimulation in order to get an adaptation.
That's great advice.
That is great advice. Okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that tomorrow.
Hey guys, let's move on quickly to food for a second before we get into our hot takes. So can you give us some of your best advice on food?
Food, yes, my favorite topic. So the goal is to eat as much whole food, non-packaged, non-processed food, right? So food from the earth, food from the ground, food that's whole food, and to balance out each meal. Now, the other thing that a lot of women, including myself, were completely misguided back in the day when I started was that I was eating, I thought 3 meals a day, right? Or the other one is skip the entire day of food and, binge eat at the end of the day. And so what I teach my clients is we want to eat 5 small meals per day. You want to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks in between. Some people like 2 breakfasts, like I eat 2 breakfasts, then I have lunch, then I have a snack, then I have a dinner, right? But they're all spaced out within 3 hours of each other. And they are all balanced, right? So there's an equal amount of protein in each one of the meals. There's a vegetable carb, a little bit of starchy vegetables, and the fat is really for flavor rather than the majority of the meal. A lot of women, when they first come to me, what I notice is very low protein, very high fat. Like I'm talking like 80, 90 grams per day of fat and like 300-400 grams of carbs per day and very low protein. And they don't understand why they can't lose weight. Well, because they're extremely high in calories, right? So the average American eats about 3,500 calories per day and only moves or gets any type of movement and activity about 20 minutes a day. So it's completely upside down. And, we're struggling, right? We're struggling. No, there's no movement, no load bearing. And if you think about us from an evolutionary standpoint, what did we do back in the day? Like, what are we designed for? We're designed to carry heavy shit, right?
Move. We were moving.
Yes, right. To walk a lot. We eat animal sources of protein, eggs and dairy and things like that, and vegetables and grains and things like that. And we walk a lot, right? Because we had no vehicles. And we're doing the complete opposite of that, right? And we're trying to figure out, oh my God, what's wrong with us? Well, we're living in an upside down world, and we haven't adapted from an evolutionary standpoint. And so when you think about it in that sense, what can we do in today's day and age, in this modern time, in this modern society, to kind of compensate for the fact that we're sitting all day, our food comes from a lab, right? We don't know what the heck is in there. It's chemicals. I mean, everything is a chemical, but a lot of these things are made with chemicals specifically made for addiction, right? Sugar, like highly processed sugar that didn't exist back in the day when the Neanderthal was running around, right?
Right.
He'd be lucky if he got a berry.
Right.
And here we are eating like, what the heck was it? I read 3,000 pounds of sugar or something, 300 pounds of sugar per year or something crazy like that. Yeah.
What's your, Terry, protein, it's for midlife women, hotties, it's like you're supposed to eat like 30 grams of protein per meal. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So that is another, I'm going to be really obnoxious. So that also depends, okay? It's all very bio-individual, right? So I can't say to anybody where I don't know their history to eat 30 grams of protein per meal, right? Because that will bring you to, well, how many meals are you going to eat? Are you going to have 5? That's 150 grams of protein. Well, how much do you weigh right now?
Right.
But if you weigh 110 pounds, it's going to be very hard to eat 150 grams of protein. If you weigh, like, I'm going to use myself as an example but this is very individual, right? So I'm 5'3", I'm almost 49, I weigh 150 pounds, but my body composition leans more towards muscle mass than body fat. Do I have body fat? Yes. Most likely, from my calculation, I have about 15 pounds to 20 pounds of body weight that I do not want to lose, right? I want to keep that because I feel good.
Yeah. Right.
My daily intake is about 145 grams of protein to 150 grams of protein. I eat about 120 grams of carbs and 45 grams of fat.
Got it. Okay. And are you measuring out everything on a scale, and are you using those tools?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what happens in the very beginning when somebody starts macronutrition is, and I know because I know exactly what this felt like. I was like, what in the heck? I have to get a PhD in macros to figure it out.
It does feel that way, though. It does feel very daunting.
It does feel daunting.
Yes. So my advice, and this is what I do with clients, is come up with 15 meals that are on point, right? You've created your recipes in your macro tracker. You know exactly how much protein, carbs, and fat and starch you're going to have for what that particular meal that fits your macros. Come up with 20 different meals, and they don't have to be cooked. So here's the other myth is that you have to cook everything.
Right.
No. You can put things together, right? So you can have tuna fish, scallions, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever other kind of vegetable, a little bit of pasta, and some kind of a sauce. I like sriracha mayo, and that could fit your macros, right? I didn't cook anything in that. I just cut some vegetables in. Another one that you don't have to cook is 0% Greek yogurt with protein powder, blueberries, 10 grams of granola, right? Not like a whole handful, right? A little bit of drizzle of honey and whatever else you like to put in it, as long as it kind of covers that balanced kind of meal. and you don't have to cook that. You can even pre-make that. Another one that I do at retreats that people love a lot is overnight oats. You can make 7 to 10 of them at a time and just have them ready for pre and post workout. Now, oats are starch, so you want to have them before and after workouts for most optimum absorption into the muscles and into the bodies, for so that they don't go in the places we don't want them to go. But yeah, it doesn't have to be so hard. In the beginning it is, but it doesn't.
You kind of get adjusted to it. Now, you just mentioned protein powder, and I know one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about, your hot take on, some of these protein, what I would sort of term supplemental protein things, whether it's a protein powder, a protein bar, shakes. I feel like there's all kinds of stuff in the marketplace now coming at us, not all of which have such clean ingredients. But if you are sort of advising, 3 meals, 2 snacks for somebody who doesn't have as much bandwidth to plan and pre-plan, what do you think about those things? What do you think about, adding a protein bar as one of the snacks or part of the snack? Or are you always putting protein powder into your yogurt to up the protein amount?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
So my rule of thumb is protein bars and full protein powder meals, right? So just a protein shake with nothing else in it. Really, I reserve that for when I get too busy. I didn't plan enough. I'm traveling. I'm in a pinch. I am starving and I'm going to eat my arm off, but I'm stuck in traffic. So I don't want to pull over somewhere and have McDonald's or whatever, right? I carry that around in my purse when I'm traveling on a plane, etc. Right? So those are really for times when it's a necessity, because I call those synthetic foods. So we want to try and avoid it, but I'm not a Puritan about it, right? I'd rather you eat a protein bar than a Big Mac.
Right.
And so, but when you're home and you have the luxury of time, you can kind of top off your yogurt with only 10 grams of a protein powder rather than the full 30 grams that they put in the serving. You don't need to have the whole serving. When you're doing overnight oats, you don't have to put a full serving of protein powder into that. You can put 10 grams. And so throughout the day, you can kind of take one serving and sprinkle it all around to kind of top you off,
That's a good recommendation.
Well, this is a good time to actually move into our hot take section.
We've actually covered a bunch of them. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we just started. So we did the protein bars, but now let's get your hot take on the weighted vest.
Well, let's do this a little more, like a little bit more, like a little
rapid fire.
Yeah, a little rapid fire. So we're going to ask you. We're going to throw some things at you, and then you tell us your hot take on it. So you already just did protein bars and shakes for us,
and the amount of protein a day.
Yeah, tell us your hot take on the weighted vest.
If you like it, do it. If you don't like it, don't do it.
Is there a benefit to it?
Not really. And okay, so I'm gonna
not like loading you up as no. Okay.
No.
So you feel so this is just like become like a total hot thing that it is not really doing anything.
Walking is not resistance training. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Walking. I haven't. These two have a weighted vest. I was about to. I mean, it's in my Amazon. I'm about to hit the button, and you're telling me like the weighted vest. You're not
walking with it is not weight training.
I can make an argument for wearing the weighted vest for squatting, right? If that feels more comfortable for you, right?
Yeah.
Can make a lot of arguments for wearing it while you're doing body weight exercises, but adding 40 pounds on top of that where you're not worried about balancing things out. But just for walking purposes, I mean, sure, is it going to help you feel more exertion? Yes, but it's not considered resistance training.
I just in the shame walk that I'm going to do right now. At 20 pounds, I was falling off the treadmill. Like literally couldn't keep my balance. So 40 pounds seems like I might not be able to stand up.
Yeah, so then that's a big no.
That's a goal, right? So a very interesting, actually, I think, approach would be someone that's just starting out and they're only doing body weight in the beginning, right? So how can they progress without needing to learn form and balance or whatever? Put on a 20-pound weighted
Yeah.
vest and get up and stand up from a chair 20 times, 3 times a day. And that would be considered a load-bearing squat.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay. Let's go.
Not what we bought it for, but thank you.
How about supplements? What's your hot take on supplements?
I think they're a waste of money. So supplements, unless your blood work says, and then unless your doctor says that you're deficient in something, like there's some people that live in areas where there's no sun, they need vitamin D. There's some people that's blood work comes back, they're anemic, they're iron deficient, they have an iron deficiency. You know, unless your blood work says you need to take the supplement, just taking a whole bunch of random supplements is actually, I think, counterproductive, and it can cause problems rather than help you. So the only two things I do recommend are creatine and collagen. Obviously, protein powder is also a supplement, technically. So there's three, but other than that, unless you're having trouble sleeping, right? So magnesium could help you with that. Unless you're having, you know, other issues, then that's a whole separate conversation.
Now, can we go back to because Mary, you were taking creatine for a minute.
I took creatine for a minute, and it just happened to coincide with my annual checkup, and my doctor was like, there's something wrong with your kidneys. Like, have you done something differently? And I was like, I just started creatine. He's like, stop it. He's like, stop the creatine. You are killing your kidneys. So I did stop it, and my kidney went right back to normal.
So like 2 to 3 days before you go to get your blood work, you stop the creatine, and then all of your results are going to be normal, because that's a pretty normal thing that happens. The creatinine, I think it's called, elevated, right? So it gives a false alarm. But your doctor should know what creatine does for women in midlife.
Oh, well, he's a man.
Yeah. So we should all be taking creatine?
As far as I'm concerned, yes.
And why? Inform us as to why.
Well, it's one of the most researched supplement probably in history.
Ooh.
There are so many studies on humans that are done that showcase that creatine helps with muscle decline, with muscle preservation, with brain fog, delivering energy to the muscles, and just in general, right? It's a really great supplement. It's all out there.
Yeah.
Terry, can I ask how many milligrams should we be taking a day with creatine?
So the way that I coach my clients is you start with 3 grams, and then you can go up to 5. And it's the consistency really that matters. So you want to take it every morning with your coffee, for example. 3 grams is great. You don't have to go crazy. There's like people online right now that are talking about taking 10 grams. I'm like, no. But there is a very noticeable difference. When I started taking creatine, I felt instantly more clear, and I had a lot better, more performance. I had a better performance in the gym.
Okay.
Right?
Would you say that was energy to it too? Like that energy, that desire, like in the morning for like, get up, get that, bang that workout out. Is it something like that?
It doesn't create energy. It helped me with recovery as well.
Okay.
So it helped me be able to perform and not be as tired during the workout. And then I recovered a lot easier, right? So because recovery is where our decline actually takes place. So a lot of women ask me, like, what's the difference between a 20-year-old and a 50-year-old woman? Like, how do you train them differently? Well, you don't train them differently. The body responds the same way. What's different is the recovery. So it takes us longer to get over the initial, let's say, Monday's workout. It might take us an extra day or 2.
Got it. And collagen, like a collagen powder?
Collagen powder, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So any brands that you love?
So I use Thorn, THORNE. It's a nutraceutical brand.
Okay.
right? So the majority of thorn supplements, you're going to find them at physicians' offices.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at the time and we are getting close to time. So we did have a few other questions, but we may ask them on email or something and then share them with our hotties. But I would love to end with our, if there's one hot tip you could give our listeners, what would that be?
One hot tip. Don't skip your protein. Don't skip your resistance training. And it is going to sound really biased, but get a coach. They are invaluable. That is what changed my life. And having a really knowledgeable female coach that knew what I was going through it's irreplaceable. And a community, right? And you guys have that. You guys are so lucky. You have each other. You have that built-in community. But if you don't have a built-in friend group, find a friend group that's interested in the same things that you're interested in, right? So health, wellness, fitness, food, etc. And it just makes life so much better, so much easier. You feel more fulfilled. You're not starving. You're not relying on anything or anyone else. You're happy. We're happy.
Yeah.
Terry, I know the answer to this, but are you thumbs down on cocktails on the weekends?
I don't drink.
So did you give it up as part of all of this at the beginning, through your wellness journey? You cut alcohol out, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I haven't felt better, honestly. And I noticed if I do have a drink, it does not do me any favors. Like there's no part of it that is helping for nothing.
Yeah.
It's for nothing. And there's no point.
There's no point. Well, unless you enjoy it. Not to overindulge. I know that's not the advice.
One step at a time for these ladies. We're gonna slowly move on through these things. Okay, Terry, tell us where we can find you.
Yeah.
And a little bit about your businesses and all that, where everyone can find you.
You can find me on the houseofrose.com. We have all of our retreats listed there. We have our coaching, our group coaching listed there as well. Next year, we are doing Sedona in the south of France, and we're also launching a cookbook for women in midlife with all the lifestyle medicine things. And you can find me on Instagram. How good can it get?
And you're also on TikTok, right?
I am on TikTok, but very rarely.
You have more of the Instagram community.
More Instagram, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that sounds
excellent.
Good.
And Hotties, if you have any questions for us, you can DM us and we can ask Terry any more questions you have or follow-ups. Please follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well. And Terry, this has been amazing and so informative.
So much information.
For our Hotties.
Hours.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Hotties. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.